What's up guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove your dash from your 1992 to 1997 F-Series truck. So there is going to be a few differences depending on what model you have, whether you have a diesel, a gas, a automatic or a manual, airbag versus no airbag. There's a few different connectors that I'll try to note throughout the video. So the first step is to remove your e-brake assembly. There's going to be three 13mm nuts holding the e-brake assembly to the dash brace. Once those three nuts have been removed, there's also a connector on top of the e-brake assembly that needs to be unplugged. That connector goes up to your dash and tells you whether your e-brake's on or not. Once you have all of that removed, you can just lay the e-brake assembly down on its side. The next thing I'm going to remove is the tilt column lever. There's going to be two flat spots on it, which you can attach vice grips to and then unscrew it. Now the only bad thing about doing it the way you see in the video is that the vice grips will chew up those two flat parts. If you want, you could place either a towel or a rag there to try to protect the paint. Now you do see there is a little bit of Loctite on the threads, or quite a bit, and you can also see the damage that the vice grips did, but a little bit of paint can touch that up. Next, I'm going to focus on removing the lower cover for the column itself. There's going to be 4 screws holding this in. There's going to be 3 below, and then 1 hidden screw on the right side of the cover. Now, as you can see, that right screw is pretty buried back there. You're going to end up having to remove the lower dash panel, which is no big deal. It's only held in by 2 screws, which I believe are either 7 or 8mm. So for me, I also have a 6-position chip on this truck, which I mounted down on that panel, so I will also need to remove that. It's important to note that you should remove any extra wiring, or at least be aware of any extra wiring underneath the dash, because it will most likely end up getting in your way when you go to remove it. So once I unscrewed the 2 7mm bolts, the only thing that's holding that panel in is the clips. Now my truck had a trailer brake module mounted up on this panel also. I don't tow with this truck and I never plan to, so I just ended up cutting it. But if you do have something similar mounted there, you can just trace the wires and pull them through. Once that panel is off, it's going to reveal a whole lot of wiring down there, but it's also going to give you access to that 1 screw that you need to remove that column cover. With all the screws out, you can just pry down on the cover and it'll come off. The same cannot be said about the top of the cover, sadly. You will need to remove the whole dash bezel to get that out, along with the key cylinder too. So this truck had a secondary horn on it, and the switch is mounted on the bezel, so I removed that. I also traced the wire to see that I was borrowing power from one of the fuses, and I disconnected that. Next, you can see that that lock cylinder is still in the way. There's a little pin, a little silver dot you see there is the pin that you need to push up on while the key cylinder is in the run position. And with that pin pushed in, you'll be able to pull that whole key cylinder out. Next, I'm going to get to the 2 8mm bolts that are hidden behind these trim pieces. There's 1 bolt on each side of the steering column. If you don't have a trim tool, I heavily recommend getting one for this job. There's a lot of clips and connectors that need to be unplugged, and the less of those that you break, the better, honestly. So as you can see with that 1 trim piece out, it revealed 1 bolt on the left side. Now you can see that the bezel is a little bit cracked over where that bolt is secured. That's no big deal. I'm planning on doing a bit of plastic welding, or a video on plastic welding. You will most likely run into a problem with this bezel, as it is, if it's original to the truck, it's probably near 30 years old. The last piece that you need to remove before you can start removing the bezel is the headlight switch. Now to remove it, you need to turn it all the way to the left and simply pull back. Now here's the part where I end up making a pretty big mistake. I take both these bolts out and then I start prying on the bezel trying to take it out. There is 2 connectors on this bezel. There's one for the wait to start light and another one on the fuel selector switch. You need to unplug those, and you also need to be careful of the clips on top of the bezel that go into the dash. I ended up breaking 3 of them, along with, again, breaking the fuel selector switch. Just try to learn from my mistakes here. It probably could have been avoided if I was a little bit more careful. So once you get everything unplugged and you get the bezel unclipped, you'll be able to pull that out. If you do end up breaking the tank selector, there is some aftermarket brackets that you can buy, along with the wait to start light. If you break either of those, there is aftermarket brackets that you can buy to remount them. So it's not the end of the world. And you could also buy a whole new bezel if you're rich. So after that's gone, you can remove this top cover, which is going to unveil a bunch of wires on top of the column. Now, there should be about 3 or 4 connectors on top of it. What I ended up doing is I'm going to remove the indicator switch. I believe it's either a T20 or a T27, and I'm going to remove those 2 gold bolts from the steering column, and it's going to make it easier to remove those connectors. Once you get those connectors undone, I did end up bolting the indicator switch back onto the steering column. So here's where things are going to start to differ. There's going to be a few changes depending on what truck you have. If you have a gas, a manual, and an airbag, I recommend watching this video done by another YouTuber. His name is Garrett's OBS Garage. He does a video showing how to disconnect the airbag connector, because there is a procedure for that, alongside the neutral safety switch and the inertia switch. Those are all useful things. If you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. So if you have an automatic, there's going to be a string that goes up to a lever up here. That's going to show you what gear you're in. That's going to be your gear selector. It's going to show you whether you're in first, drive, reverse, whatever. You need to remove that string from that lever. After you remove that string, you need to disconnect the assembly from the column. There's going to be a 5.5 millimeter bolt that holds in that assembly. Once you remove that, you can swing that line across. So once that's disconnected, I just put the bolt back in its place so I don't lose it. So next, what I'm going to show you is some of the connectors that you need to get off to drop the steering column. There's the big one right there, a gray one. There's going to be a few. Now what I'm showing here is the bundle of wires, just so I remember where they go. So there's going to be a few connectors. The one that you see right there is the brake switch connector. That one doesn't necessarily need to be unplugged yet, but the bracket for the column is close to it, and you will run into issues with that switch in a little bit here. So there's also a cylinder connector, or a cylinder buried down here. That connector needs to be unplugged. Also, there is going to be the shift linkage that needs to be disconnected from the column bracket. Again, that trim tool is going to come in handy just to pry it off real quick. Once that linkage is off, you're going to double check that all your connectors that lead to your column are disconnected. There's quite a few, so just double check real quick. You can start then dropping the column down slowly. I actually put a jack stand underneath my column so it didn't slam down. There's going to be 4 nuts that are holding the column up still. And also there's going to be this one bolt that connects your column to the rest of the steering shaft. So disconnect that bolt and you should be able to pull the shaft out also. Once you get everything loose, like you see in this clip here, there's going to be one more problem. And that is going to be there's some type of clip on the back of the column brace or on the column bracket that needs to be removed. I tried to get the camera back there for you to see, but you want to be extremely careful here because the column will be resting on your brake connector. So you just want to be careful. You don't want to put all that weight on that connector and possibly break it. So in the next clip, I'll show you what I did to remove that last bracket. The hard part is this tab right here. It's right by your brake switch. It's pretty tucked in there. You have to push a tab that's right in here. I pushed it with a pick, and then I pulled up, and once I got it up enough, I put the pick down in here and pried up, and I was able to get it out, but it is a bit of a pain to get to. And then when you're taking the column out, there is all the wires that you disconnected, you will have to fish them kind of through and make sure that you don't pull any out. But yeah, it's not that bad. So now with the column removed, I'm going to start removing the 2 connectors that are attached to my brake pedal. The one I just unplugged, and the other one I actually unbolted and just left it inside the connector itself. But if you want, you can also just unplug it. It's no big deal. You will need to remove this plug or this connector from the brake pedal itself. It's held in there with a clip. So just pop that clip out and it'll be good to go. Next, I'm going to finally be unplugging that brake connector. There should just be a small clip on it that you can lift up on and then pull the whole connector back and out. There's also going to be 2 connectors that are attached to the dash brace that you can see on the left there, that metal piece. You'll need to undo both of those. There's going to be a gray connector and then a circle black connector that both need to be unplugged. Once those 2 are unplugged, you can start moving on to the firewall plugs. There's going to be 2 of them that you need to disconnect. And you will need to do this from inside the engine bay. We're looking at this connector that I'm pointing at, and then there's one hidden below the brake drum. Right down there where my middle finger is. It's kind of hard to see, but there's another connector down there. There's 2mm bolts, 2 10mm bolts holding those in. Loosen them and then pull those back. And you'll see there's little clips on them that need to be pushed in, and you can push the whole connector through the firewall. Now we're going to move on to the passenger side of the truck. There's a lot of connectors alongside this sensor here that senses when your door is open. That's a 15mm nut that's on it. Undo the nut and you'll have access to the connector on that sensor. So here you can see that I'm just unplugging this bunch of plugs. And also don't forget to remove the ground strap that's here. So when you undo that 15mm nut, that's what the sensor is going to look like that goes in the door. So you just unplug it, you pull it through and unplug it from the connector, and then you can stuff that connector back through so it doesn't get squished by the door. There's also one more hidden connector that I forgot to undo. Make sure that you get all these connectors in this corner unplugged. Next, we're going to move to the middle of the dash. There's going to be your vacuum bank, which you can unplug. There's no clips on this one. You just need to pull it apart, and it should come apart pretty easily. So next, I'm going to remove the glove box. First, you have to open it up and then squeeze the side of the glove box together. Once you do that, you should be able to pull the glove box all the way down. And after that, you just have to unhook it from the dash. Next, we're going to start removing bolts again. You're going to have 3 8mm bolts on the bottom of the dash that connects to a few brackets. Now, for me, I did leave the one closest to the edge or closest to the passenger side a little bit installed. I didn't fully unscrew it just to hold the dash up. But the other 2 I completely removed. After that, we're going to start removing the bolt that's up here. As you can see, there's 2 bolt heads. You're going to do the bolt head that you can just see in these clips. Just those 4. The other side, we're not going to touch. We're going to leave those in. And these are actually going to be 7mm. So once you get these 4 bolts out, the dash is going to be pretty loose. The only thing that's actually going to be holding this dash up, if you removed all the bolts, is going to be the 4 15mm bolts that you see here, and that one 8mm on the other side. But you can also remove that 8mm bolt if you want, because these 4 will hold the whole dash up by themselves. What I'm doing is I'm going to be removing 3 of these 15mm bolts. I recommend getting the 2 back ones out along with the one that is closest to the fuse box. Now I did loosen that last bolt just a little bit so that dash has play in it, as you can see there. Next, we're going to head to the outside of the truck where we're going to remove the antenna. There's a little chrome cover on it. And once you take that off, you'll see 4 screws. Once those 4 screws are removed, you're going to unplug the antenna. And once that's done, you can reinstall the antenna. So now we're going to be reaching behind the dash. We're going to be removing this one bolt that you see there. That is an 8mm. This is going to be a little bit difficult to get to, but it can be done from up top. You're going to be close to the windshield. Once you get that bolt out, we're going to work on getting the antenna out also. It just needs to be pulled through that grommet. So grab that wire and just pull back on it, and you will get the antenna completely out. The antenna wire, I should say, completely out. So this is a little reminder. You're also going to have to remove a little white clip that goes into this hole up here, I believe, or up here, one of the two. Just remember to remove it, because I did not until the end. Now it's time to drop the dash. I have removed that 8mm bolt from the other side, and all that's holding it in is the one 15mm bolt. Now this was a bit of a struggle considering that the 4x4 shifter got in the way, and that jack stand ended up kind of screwing me over, because I needed that side to drop a little bit. But I was eventually able to get it to fully come down. Again, if you have a second person here, it will be very helpful. But if not, it's still possible with just one person. So when it comes to removing the dash out of the truck, I definitely recommend having 2 people. It's just very awkward to try to grab, and it's a lot of plastic, so you don't want to grab it in the wrong spot and then have it crack. Either way, you can do it one person if you really need to. That's how you remove your dash from your OBS truck. I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And yeah, take care, guys.